We are reading Bhagwat Geeta as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 2, text 29. One second, just hold on. Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Let's read the purport. Since Gita is largely based on the principles of the Upanishads, it is not surprising to also find this passage in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.7. The fact that the atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of a space, is certainly very amazing. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of the individual atomic spark of spirit, even though it is explained by the greatest authority of knowledge, who imparted lessons even to Brahma, the first living being in the universe. Owing to a gross material conception of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become both so great and so small. Yes. So men look at the soul proper as wonderful either by constitution or by description. Illusioned by the material energy, people are so engrossed in subject matters for sense gratification that they have very little time to understand the question of self understanding, even though it is a fact that without this self understanding, all activities result in ultimate defeat in the struggle for existence. Yes. So we are more focused on sense gratification, but we are not focused on what we really like to do or what really makes us happy. And this illusionary happiness that we get from sense gratification is actually defeating our purpose of life. Yes? The, so, if you just go inward and you start realizing what you really like to do, what gives you satisfaction. Yeah, there are many people which are into herd mentality. Like if everyone is doing this, I will also do this. If everyone is feeling happy doing this, I will also feel happy. So there is lot of dependence on what others are doing and what others are not doing. But we have to come out of this kind of mentality, this kind of herd mentality, and we have to look within that what we really want to do and what really will make us happy. And we have to keep doing things which makes us feel good from within. Perhaps they have no idea that one must think of the soul and thus make a solution to the material miseries. Yes. Some people who are inclined to hear about the soul may be attending lectures in good association, like us. But sometimes, owing to ignorance, they are misguided by acceptance of the super soul and the atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. Yes. So many people are understanding things about the soul, but then they misunderstand that the super soul and the soul is one. But that's not one, because super soul is very, very powerful, and the soul is not as powerful as super soul. So this is highly intangible. Like we both, there are this can be also seen within souls. Like we all are so many souls, right? We at the same level? No. So all the souls, even when they come together, will they act together? They never merge. Soul never merges. Yes. So will they act together? No. So there is, and will they have the same power? Like like it's a simple thing. A soul is able to run the energy or run the organs of the body, correct? So if I want to see across, I'm able to see. But somebody who wants to see across is not able to see. It needs glasses. So the soul is not able to see at a certain distance. Correct? It's not able to give that energy or that vision to the eyes that it can see so far. So within ourselves only we can see how much powerful and how much not powerful the soul is, or how you have been dominating the soul with your choices. So the point is that we never become one. Even if we are at the same place, we never become one. We have our own ways of doing things. It is very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands the position of the super soul, the atomic soul, their respective functions and relationships, and all other major and minor details. And it is still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from knowledge of the soul and who is able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. If somehow or other one is able to understand the subject matter of the soul, then one's life is successful. Yes, once you understand the subject of the soul, then you will start seeing progress, success, because you will start getting untrapped from the Maya, from the illusionary energy, and you will start doing the real thing which matters. You know, the easiest process for understanding the subject matter of self, however, is to accept the statements of Bhagwat Gita spoken by the greatest authority, Lord Krishna, without being deviated by other theories. But it also requires a great deal of penance and sacrifice, either in this life or in the previous ones, before one is able to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, there is a lot of sacrifice. So we are already sacrificing for getting whatever we want. So if today you want to lose weight, you have to sacrifice eating sweets. Yes, there is no gain without sacrifice. Yes. So it is a great deal to to understand Krishna and to understand the matter of soul, because it needs lot of sacrifice. So you have to sacrifice your sense gratification activities. You have to sacrifice these things, and it is not like you have to. It will come as you want to sacrifice. Krishna can, however, be known as such by the causeless mercy of the pure devotee and by no other way. Yes. Let's move to text 30. O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Let's read the purport. Now, Lord is concluding this for him. The Lord now concludes the chapter of instruction on the immutable spirit soul. In describing the immortal soul in various ways, Lord Krishna establishes that the soul is immortal and the body is temporary. Therefore, Arjun, as a Kshatriya, should not abandon his duty out of fear that his grandfather and teacher, that is Bhishma and Drona, will die in the battle. On the authority of Sri Krishna, one has to believe that there is a soul different from the material body, not that there is no such thing as soul, or that living symptoms develop at a certain stage of material maturity resulting from the interaction of chemicals. Yeah. Though the soul is immortal, violence is not encouraged. But at the time of war, it is not discouraged when there is actual need for it. Yes. When there is a need of violence, it is encouraged, not otherwise. That need must be justified in terms of the sanction of the Lord and not capriciously. Yes. The need should be a very, like the need here to do the war is to establish dharma, is to establish that what is the right way to deal, what is the religion, what does the Vedas say, and what wrong you have done, and this is wrong. Like respect main reason for Mahabharat was for the respect of women. Okay, if you disrespect women, then you should be punished. So that was the main reason for doing Mahabharat. It led to a war. Yes. Let's move to text 31. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. Yes. Let's read the purport. Out of the four orders of social administration, the second order for the matter of good administration is called Kshatriya. Yes. Brahman is the first order, second is Kshatriya. Kshat means hurt. One who gives protection from harm is called Kshatriya, means someone who can protect you from hurt. Trayate, to give protection. The Kshatriyas are trained for killing in the forest. A Kshatriya would go into the forest and challenge a tiger face to face and fight with the tiger with his sword. When the tiger was killed, it would be offered the royal order of cremation. This system has been followed even up to the present day by the Kshatriya kings of Jaipur state. Yes. The Kshatriyas are specially trained for challenging and killing because religious violence is sometimes a necessary factor. Therefore, Kshatriyas are never meant for accepting directly the order of sannyas or renunciation. Non-violence in politics may be a diplomacy, but it is never a factor or principle. In the religious law books, it is stated that, in quotes, in the battlefield, a king or Kshatriya, while fighting another king envious of him, is eligible for achieving the heavenly planets after death, as the Brahmanas also attain the heavenly planets by sacrificing animals in the sacrificial fire. Yes. So we say when we sacrifice an animal, we are sacrificing for a cause, for a religious, and it is backed with lot of religious justification that we are picking one animal so that it can move to the next life and a better life, and all its sins can be cancelled, you know. So similarly, when a king who is jealous of another king dies in the war, he also meets heaven because he has finally burnt all his negative energies, that is jealousy, ego, all of that gets killed because you come to a realization at the end when you're about to be defeated that what all you were doing and what all you were fighting for, and it was all not very correct to do that. So that realization is coming. So for that particular realization, you are doing this war, and once you realize it, you are promoted to the higher realm. Yes. But so much to do for that realization. As we say, there's so much to sacrifice to realize for self realization. You have to sacrifice. Therefore, killing on the battlefield on religious principles and killing animals in the sacrificial fire are not at all considered to be acts of violence because everyone is benefited by the religious principles involved. Yes, when you involve religious principles and you do the violence, then it is beneficial for all. So we are basically debating why it is not a violence for a Kshatriya to fight in the war. Okay, because this was one of the doubts for Arjun for not taking up the fight. The animal sacrificed gets a human life immediately without undergoing the gradual evolutionary process from from one form to another, and the kshatriyas killed on the battlefield also attain the heavenly planets, as do the brahmanas who attain them by offering sacrifice. Yes, there are two kinds of there are two kinds of swadharmas, specific duties. As long as one is not liberated, one has to perform the duties of his particular body in accordance with the religious principles in order to achieve liberation. So when one is liberated, one's swadharma, that is specific duty, becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. Yes. So what we are trying to say is that when you realize after doing the sacrifice, when you realize what is you and what is the self and what does the self like to do, you have purified yourself to that extent, and then you are working from spiritual space in the material world. Yes. So when you start working from a spiritual space of mind in the material world, you will realize that you will get detached from the bodily concept of life very easily. So you will start realizing the the negatives of self gratifications, and you will not see even if you do anything, you will not see it gratifying your senses. Now, whatever gratifies your senses are only the work that you do from the spiritual space of mind. Yes. So that happens. In the bodily conception of, so it's similar to, how you realize that eating burger is junk, but you keep eating because you love the taste. But now you have realized that it is not good for your body, your energy is getting drowned in everything. So now when you look at that burger, you will not feel like eating it. That feeling is gone. So the self gratification that was happening is no more gratifying because the realization has come. Yes? So this realization is important. No matter how much other people come and tell you, you will only do it when you have realized it. Yes? In the bodily conception of life, there are specific duties for the Brahmins and Kshatriyas respectively, and such duties are unavoidable. Swadharma is ordained by the Lord, and this will be clarified in the fourth chapter. On the bodily plane, Swadharma is called Varnashram Dharma or man's stepping stone for spiritual understanding. Yes, that's what we are talking about. And Human civilization begins from the stage of varnashram dharma or specific duties in terms of the specific modes of nature of the body obtained. Yes. So whatever kind of body we obtain in this material modes of nature, our specific duties are laid by the Lord. So if tomorrow I am a cat, I have to be like a cat and I have to do what cat does. That is my specific duty. Tomorrow, if I'm a human being and I have to act like a human being, I have to do things like a human being. I don't have to do things like animals. Yes. Discharging one's specific duty in any field of action in accordance with the orders of higher authorities serves to elevate one to a higher status of life. Yes. So when you keep discharging your specific duty, you will realize that you are slowly moving to a higher status of life. You will start experiencing a higher frequency also. Yes. Let's move to text 32. O Parth, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Yes, this is so true. Let's read the purport. As supreme teacher of the world, Lord Krishna condemns the attitude of Arjun, who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. Such statements by Arjun were due to ignorance only. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. Now his duty is specific because he is a Kshatriya, he is a king, and he has to fight. Now he says he doesn't want to fight, then that means he is not doing his specific duty given to him by the Lord, and so he will not reach heavenly planets. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. For a Kshatriya to be on the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. In the Parashara Smriti, a religious codes made by Parashara, the great sage and father of Vyasdev, it is stated, Kshatriyo hi prajak raksham shastra pani pradanandyam nandayam nirjitya para संयादि क्षितिं धर्मेण palayat. The Kshatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with religious principles, he should rule over the world. Considering all aspects, Arjun had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom, and if he should die in the battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, whose doors are wide open to him. Fighting would be for his benefit in either case. Yes. Let's move to text 33. After that, we will close. If, however, you do not perform your religious duties of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Yes, when you don't do your specific duty, it's going to come back to you. The effect is going to be a negative effect, and that if negative effect is going to hit you only. Yes. Let's read the purport. Arjun was a famous, for example, it is our duty to take care of our body, right? So if you're not going to take care of your body, it's going to give a negative effect to you. And today, then you may think that I want to run, but your body will not support that. So who is at the loss? You are at loss. Yes? So that's how it is. Let's read the purport. Arjun was a famous fighter and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including even Lord Shiv. After fighting and defeating Lord Shiv in the dress of a hunter, Arjun pleased the Lord and received as an award a weapon called Pashupat Astra. Everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him benedictions and awarded him the special weapon by which he could kill even his teacher. So he was credited with so many military certificates from many authorities, including his adoptive father Indra, the heavenly king. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell not by fighting but by withdrawing from the battle. Yes. Now that is loud and clear. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha Jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha.